This is Arti. It's a fish. Arti is an artificial fish. Arti is controlled by a neural network. In this video, you will get acquainted with Arti's device and learn how the neural network has been trained to control the fish, navigate in three-dimensional space, and search for food. Additionally, we will conduct a social experiment to determine whether competition affects the ability of organisms to improve. Let's familiarize ourselves with how Arti is structured. Arti is controlled by a two-layer neural network consisting of 256 neurons. For comparison, nematode worms have 312 neurons, which are sufficient to carry out all of their life functions. Arti has three control elements connected to the neural network: the ability to turn left and right, the ability to tilt the body up and down, the ability to move forward or backward. These elements are sufficient to control the fish in space. Let's connect the fish to the keyboard and try controlling it. Without practice, it can indeed be a challenging task. But it's also very engaging. In order for the neural network to make correct decisions about which control elements to use, we need to input data about the surrounding environment and the object being controlled into the neural network. We will input the following data: the position of the fish in the aquarium, speed of movement and rotation, information from Arti's virtual eyes. Arti's eyes operate on the principle of echolocation used by bats. Rays are emitted into space, and if a ray detects an obstacle, Arti receives information about what the ray has encountered and at what distance from the fish it happened. Arti's eyes are configured to recognize the aquarium glass, food, and other fish. Now that we know how Arti is structured, we can proceed with his training. Arti's neural network will be trained using a reinforcement learning method. In the human world, this approach might be referred to as the carrot and stick method. The essence of this approach is to provide Arti with rewards for actions we classify as positive, while other actions are evaluated as neutral or negative. By doing so, Arti, even while performing completely random actions, will eventually carry out actions for which it receives a reward, and consequently, it will repeat those actions more often. Setting the task in this way, Arti must collect 10 food pieces within 30 seconds. Arti will receive 1 point for each eaten crumb. By collecting 10 pieces in time, Arti will receive the maximum score. This approach will motivate Arti to collect food more quickly, as the maximum score can only be achieved by completing the task within the allotted time. It's time to put the acquired knowledge into practice. We initiate the training process. At the very beginning, the neural network doesn't know anything. It doesn't understand how to react to the sensor data with specific actions. Therefore, the neural network randomly triggers all control elements. Every few thousand steps, the accumulated experience is loaded into the neural network and adjusts its behavior. Actions that the neural network performed in specific situations that led to rewards will become more prioritized for repetition in similar situations in the future. Let's give Arti the opportunity to gain its first experience. Arti accidentally touched the bread a few times and received its first rewards. The fish still hasn't fully learned to control its body, but we can see that the number of interactions with food has increased. It's no longer isolated incidents, and sometimes Arti manages to eat 2 pieces of food in a round. How did this happen? How did Arti understand it needs to move toward the food? In the beginning of a few rounds, a piece of food appeared very close in front of Arti's nose, and Arti randomly chose the action to move forward. After this happened several times, a dependency formed: if the front sensor detects an object like food, move forward only. This is a great start. Now Arti needs to learn how to respond to its peripheral sensors to search for food in the space around itself and aim for it. To accelerate the training process, we will add several aquariums. This way, 9 clones of Arti will help us gain experience 9 times faster in the same amount of time. Let's give Artie the opportunity to complete its training. Artie has successfully learned to collect 10 pieces of food in less than 30 seconds in almost every round. The task we set out to accomplish has been completed. Thanks to the neural network and 47 lines of code, Artie has successfully learned strategies for finding food, aiming at it, and collecting it. However, we still observe that the fish behaves somewhat chaotically. At this point, 1.5 million training steps have been completed. Let's provide the neural network with the opportunity to refine its acquired skills by going through an additional 5.5 million steps. So, the training is complete. In the allocated additional time, Artie has learned to consistently surpass the task we assigned to it. The fish now collects 10 pieces of food on average in 22 seconds. But is this the limit? We will temporarily set Artie aside and train a second neural network. We will fully replicate the previous experiment, but this time we will place multiple fish in the aquarium. In this way, Artie will learn to control itself and collect food in a competitive environment. Since any of the fish can eat the piece of food Artie is targeting faster than him, we expect that these conditions will help Artie find a strategy during training to avoid food that can be taken by other fish more quickly. We will not closely monitor the training process as we did the first time and will simply allow the fish to go through 7 million steps, which is the same duration as the solitary Artie's training. The fish have been trained. At first glance, you can't even tell if their behavior differs from that of the solitary Artie. This means it's time to conduct a competition. To determine which of the trained neural networks is better, let's place an equal number of fish from each group in the same environment and count how much food each team collects on average during one round in 30 seconds. Let the competition begin. We assumed that the green fish should have an advantage since they were trained in an environment similar to the competition. Oh, look at how this green fish is spinning, trying to find food. The blue fish performed the same actions significantly more quickly. It seems we can already determine the winner, but let's wait for the competition to conclude. Time has come to an end. The team of solitary blue Arties is winning. It's not what we expected. Why is this happening? Let's run one more round of competition, but give the fish more time to avoid statistical errors. It's becoming evident that the team of solitary Arties is once again outperforming their opponents. Let's try to speculate why we obtained these specific results. Most likely, Artie, who trained alone, experienced a smaller number of life situations. He was limited to glass and surrounded by food. His sensors received no other information. Therefore, his two primary strategies, detecting food and moving towards it, could develop more rapidly. For the fish trained in a group, their sensors received information not only about glass and food but also about the surrounding fish. Various situations could arise. For example, a fish might detect two pieces of food and two other fish, one moving towards the food and the other moving away. Learning to make decisions in such complex situations was necessary. They had to live through these situations enough times to learn to make the optimal decision in each specific case. We assumed that group training should have provided an advantage. However, it likely required significantly more time to develop that advantage. Well, it's time to sum up. Friends, we have only just begun this exciting journey with Artie. Ahead of us lie new challenges. We plan to teach Artie to live in a flock, feel hunger, conserve energy, seek shelter for sleep, and instill other skills typical of real fish. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoy our project and its main character. If you do enjoy it, Please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel so you don't miss new videos. Feel free to leave your questions and suggestions in the video comments. We will definitely respond to all of them. If you'd like to support our channel, the Patreon link is provided in the description.